Happy lunch hour, gang. Okay, so it's Monday and watching what's going on in the world, specifically with our money and where it's going to go. Don't have to tell you about inflation or anything of the sort along those lines. You guys know all that. I mean, we experience it every day when we walk into a store or pay our electric bill or whatever it would be, go buy gas. More or less, I'm talking about the safety of the US dollar, okay, and if it's going to be worth anything going forward. This gets a little worrisome when you start hearing some of this. Now, you guys remember last year, Silicon Valley Bank and three other banks failed, okay, to the tune of some $532 billion in assets. All of a sudden went poof. And the FDIC had to come in and save everybody. And, regardless of what insurance limits are, oh my God, all these Silicon Valley investors lost their money, so we're going to have to bail them out for more than what the insurance is. Right? Remember that? So everybody like Oprah and all that, they got, tens of millions of dollars back, even though the insurance wasn't supposed to cover that. But, the $250,000 that you're supposed to be covered for, nah, we'll just forego that. So what happens if it's not four banks? What happens if it's 300, 500 banks? What if it's that many? Okay. That's kind of what is now being predicted, and not by some talking head, not by some YouTuber, not by me. Okay. Anybody know who Scott Reckler is? Okay. Scott Reckler is the CEO of RXR Real Estate. Okay. You might know something about the real estate market, but oh, yeah, just one other little thing. He happens to be on the Federal Reserve Board of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. And when you have somebody on the Federal Reserve saying we can expect 300 to 500 banks fail, then what? He's saying it's going to be because of insolvency and consolidation. Now, again, we go back to all the comments of, there's only going to be 6 banks left. Some people said there's only going to be 2 banks left. Okay, consolidation would be one of them. Do you have your money in one of those banks that could go poof? Smaller, regional, local banks are the ones that are at risk, depending on what assets they hold. Do they still hold a bunch of treasury bonds that, are now trading at 90 cents on the dollar, 85 cents on the dollar because interest rates have gone up? Those are losses on the books, okay? If all of a sudden the people who have deposits in those banks come in and say, I want my money out, the bank has no choice but to sell those bonds at a loss, and there ain't enough. Just think about this. If there's 100 people that have a bank account and each one of them put $1 into it, so the bank has $100, okay? But now everything that the bank invested in that money is only worth $90. If those 100 people all go in and say, I want my dollar back, 10 of them are left holding the bag. Say, sorry, we don't have any more money. That's very basically exactly what's going on right now. Okay. So then you wonder on the other side, and you go, well, okay, where else do I put my money? You and me, okay? We're minnows surrounded by whales. Let's use that. Okay. Where's the big money going? We've talked for years about money going into, countries, most of Europe, China, everything, Russia, buying gold like crazy. Let's take a look at what's happened in the last 1 month. Okay. And granted, you can pick any day, but I figured, okay, let's go out 1 month and see. Let's go back to Valentine's Day. If you take a look at what the dollar has done in the last 1 month, the dollar has lost 1.5% of its value. compared to other currencies around the rest of the world. Okay, which basically means your spending power in 1 month lost 1.5% of its value. Add on to that inflation that month over month is running somewhere around 3.5%. Okay, so if you take a look at it, your dollar that you had on Valentine's Day is now worth about 95 cents 1 month. Okay, so where's all this money going? And the first thing you'll hear Biden come up and say, the stock market's doing great, yada, yada, yada. Sure, okay. Stock market is not a real good economic indicator, but I will give you this. The S&P is up 4.1% since Valentine's Day. Okay, so you've almost made back 80% of what you lost in just the value of your dollar. So you're still down from inflation and from the dollar losing value. You're still down in your returns. You still have negative spending power, even though you made 4%, which of course is taxable. Let's not forget about that too. If you bought on the 14th and you sold here on the 18th, if you had a 4% profit, you got to pay taxes on those 4%. Okay, so just saying. So then let's take a look at some of the other things that people are doing in that same 1 month period. Gold, which nearly every day here for the last week or so has been hitting new all-time highs. Gold's up 8.4% in the last month. Now I want to give you something here, and different people will tell you different things, but I'm going to give you historically, okay? Historically, going back to the advent of the New York Stock Exchange, the market average is about 7% a year. Okay, you could hear Dave Ramsey say 12% or whatever. That's true, and depending on the day you start. Okay, but if you invested money on the day the New York Stock Exchange opened, you'd make an average of about 7% a year. Okay, so gold's up 8.5%. It's a good place to have your money. You're now beating inflation. You're beating the dollar losing value. Silver up 12.4% in 1 month. Okay. Yeah, so silver's done 50% better than gold. I know a lot of us buy silver. Good. Keep doing it. Okay. Even as a bone to throw for all the people that love Bitcoin. Bitcoin in 1 month is up 29.4%. Okay. So it's done what? 7+ times what the stock market has done. It's done 3.5 times what gold has done, and it's done double of what silver's done. Okay. Now a lot of that is because they've got all these new Bitcoin ETFs that are now trading, and so there's money flowing into Bitcoin exchange traded funds on the stock market left and right. Okay. You know, I'm never going to buy Bitcoin in my life. It's imaginary money. It's monopoly money. But fine. But I'm going to say this, and just in all fair disclosure, the only reason gold and silver have any value as well is because you and I agree it does. Okay? It's if all of a sudden somebody comes up and says Beanie Babies are worth something, and people go out and buy them, yeah, they're worth something. But something is only worth what somebody else will give you for it. If the entire world population decides gold is now worthless, gold's worthless. Okay. The advantage I see to gold and silver over Bitcoin, and I've said this a million times, it's the reason I won't touch it, is because I can't physically hold Bitcoin. If the power goes out, I have nothing. I can't say, but my crypto wallet has it. When the power comes back, I'll give it to you. You know, it's the old Wimpy from the Popeye cartoons. You know, give me a hamburger today, and I'll gladly pay you for it Tuesday. Okay. At least with gold and silver, I can hold it. It's the same reason why I say never put your money in a safe deposit box or your gold and silver. Never put it in a depository somewhere. I mean, I even got an email from one of these bullion depositories. There you go. The other day, saying, "Oh, we'd be interested in working with you. And do you know anything about gold backs?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I never recommend anybody put their gold and silver in a depository, and I'd absolutely never recommend anybody buy a gold back. In case you don't know why, go do the math on how much gold is in a gold back versus how much it costs you. Right now, you're paying pretty close to $3,500 an ounce for gold to hold it in a gold back. Okay, so yeah, not exactly what you'd call a good investment or anything. But when we're hearing more and more stories, I mean, and I've told you for months now about economists figuring that the economy is going to collapse somewhere between the second and third quarter of this year. And now you get a Federal Reserve Board governor who's saying, nah, 300 to 500 banks could go under. My question is, where is your money? If the dollar keeps losing value, eventually the greenbacks you have are worthless. Doesn't mean it's going to go to zero, but how many countries have you seen around the world who have devalued their currency? Mrs. P told me stories about waking up one morning in Russia and the ruble got devalued by 50%. Poof, that was it. Just to tell you this, if you've got a $1,500 mortgage right now, if the dollar devalues by 50%, your mortgage is still $1,500. Okay, you just have a less valuable dollar to pay it with. Okay, that's it. It's not like your mortgage becomes $750. It doesn't work that way. Take care of your money. Every one of us in the community has said over and over and over and over again, get out of debt. Pay everything off as fast as you can. Use those greenbacks for something of value now while they have it. If that means paying off your car, if that means paying off your house still has value to you, even if it's no monetary. It's still a roof over your head. It keeps you dry in the rain. It keeps you warm in the winter. Okay? Get that currency that you have, that fiat currency, exchanged for tangible goods. Your house, your car, your preps, your weapons, your ammo, your gold, your silver, whatever, something. Because nobody's going to tell you to go and have no money in savings. But imagine what happens if you spent your entire life putting money in the bank account, putting money in the bank account, putting money, I'm all set for retirement. I'm retiring in 18 months. And the dollar goes poof. And you go, crap, all that work I did my entire life was now for nothing.